Around 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock, something like that. And Ziva is going nuts, barking. And dogs have different barks, and they mean different things. And her bark is a very high-pitched bark, which means it's an excited bark. So she had treed a raccoon, and the raccoon was 30 feet up the tree by now, so Ziva couldn't get near it. And then Gibbs had treed a possum on the other end of the backyard. So this high-pitched bark, my wife gets him in the house. She comes upstairs. She says, there's a raccoon in the backyard. There's a possum in the backyard. I don't want them in the backyard. What can we do? I said, I know what we can do. Let the dogs out. She goes, I don't want to let the dogs out. I said, well, the animals are going to keep coming around until they learn that it's not safe to be in the backyard. So we go outside, and the raccoon's still stuck up the tree, 30 feet off the ground. We can't get anywhere near the raccoon. But the possum had come down out of the other tree, and it had dug its way under. And I didn't know this. I thought the possum had left the yard, but Ziva's still pretty young, and she digs holes in the backyard. So she dug this one hole that goes straight down, and then we have these railroad ties, two of them stacked up that separate the front yard from the back, and there's also a fence there. But where she dug, there's like a little crevice under these railroad ties, and the possum was in the crevice under the railroad ties. And Ziva was trying to get it out, and we couldn't move her away from this at all. She wanted this possum in the worst way. Now, at first, it was the excited bark. Yeah, high-pitched bark. Then the possum made the fatal mistake, literally. Growled at Ziva. You don't growl at Ziva. That is a big mistake. So we tried to get that possum out of there for upwards of an hour. And I felt so bad. I'm like, oh my God, the neighbors are going to kill us. Because, it was non-stop barking for the pushing an hour and a half. Just, yeah. And Gibbs was in there and growling at the possum. So first I tried to stick a rake under there. And I couldn't get Ziva and Gibbs away. No way. Couldn't do it. So first I stick a rake under there, and I tried to pull it out with the rake and, get it out of there. So I just looked at my wife and I said, we're going to be here all night long. The dogs are not going back in the house. She said, so what are you going to do? I said, we got to get the possum out of there. And, it's a Monday night. By now it's almost 10 o'clock at night, and the neighbors need to get some sleep. So I get out the hose, and I spray the hose up under the hole, and the possum comes out. And in a nanosecond, the possum was dead. Oh, it was lightning fast. It was Ziva bites, Ziva picks it up, snapped her head back and forth so hard, like she shook her head like 7 times in a second, 10 times in a second, and just broke the back of the possum and just dropped it. And it was over. It was done. So then I had to clean up the mess and get rid of the possum. And the only problem was, so then I wanted to get the dogs back in the house and settle everything down. And you know how, like, if you want to get your dog's attention, you can offer it a biscuit? That didn't even work. The only way to get him was to get him to chase me. So in my slippers and jammies, I am running around the backyard. And as I run, I stepped on a branch that had like a pointy part and went right through the bottom of my slipper into my arch. So if you see me hobbling around a little bit today, it's because I stepped on that stupid branch. And it's feeling a lot better now than it did last night, but it's still not 100%. So that was the fun, exciting moment with this household last night. So it's just a matter of time until Ziva gets the raccoons.
Your dogs are dangerous.
My dogs are unbelievably loving, unbelievably kind, and they would never do that to you if you were with me. They would never do it. Anybody play softball with me last year? No. But the dogs come to softball practice. They're unbelievably nice. They're both obedience trained, and they have titles that are called Canine Good Citizen titles, CGC. It means they're very well behaved. But they don't like animals in their yard at all. If an animal comes in the yard, they will kill the animal. And it is so quick and so violent and so fast that if a robber ever saw what they do to an animal that comes in the yard, the robber would just go like, I ain't going in that house. There's no way. I have a video, maybe after the state exam and everything on a boring day, if everybody does well on a test, I'll show you the video of my breed of dogs fighting wolves. It's from a National Geographic special on TV back in like the year 1960. And they kill the wolves. And they're so strong that they actually pick the wolf up off the ground by the neck and shake it like they did to that possum. And it's
I
the end
guess
of that.
that's their trademark, shaking the animal.
Yeah, that's what they do.
ties.
That's what they do. And they're so quick. The thing that's scary is not the power. Lots of dogs are powerful. It's the quickness. They're so quick, one-on-one, they kill cobras. They're lightning fast. They're just like, they're like mountain lions. They're really, really tough. Okay, so now let's get into a tough monomial question. This question was borderline unfair. Now the good news is a couple of kids did get full credit on it. Lots of kids got partial credit. Some kids got beat up. Let's get it down pat now so we know what we're doing. Forget the monomial for a minute. What if I gave you this question here? Ready? What if I said 4 times 3 squared over 18? What would you do first? Go ahead.
The exponent.
Yeah, do the exponent, 3 squared. So let's come over here and do the exponent. Ready? So I'm going to get 4w squared times, I'm sorry, over 16w to the third. Notice I didn't do anything yet. Now I'm going to do the exponent. What's 2 to the third power? 8, good. And what's w cubed cubed? W to the 9th, good. Now, the big mistake I saw kids do on the test, you might have done this, look at your paper, you'll see. I saw a lot of kids, the first thing they did was 4 times 2 is 8. That means they multiplied before they did the exponent, but Michael just said to us that we should do the exponent first. So it's 4 times 3 squared over 18. 3 squared would be 9, then I would do 4 times 9 and get 36, and 36 over 18 is 2. Well, now we'll do the same thing here. 4 times 8 is 32. Now I add my exponents, w to the 11th over 16, w to the 3rd. And what's 32 divided by 16? 2, w to the 8th. So we get 2w to the 8th, that's the final answer. Okay? So I think that's probably the hardest question on the test. And if you had difficulty with it, please don't be ashamed. Don't think that you're bad. That's the kind of question that the kid who gets an A to an A plus gets right and everybody else struggles with. But I want you to know that you're capable of doing it. So go home, practice it up, learn how to do that question. I don't have a part C on that one because when I was making the Relearn packet, I wasn't able to access my equation editor for some reason. So you're just going to be able to do the one on part B, and then when you prepare for your test, you're going to have to study those 2 over. It's a little lame on my part, and I do apologize, but that's the best I could do at the moment.